amazed at this at your activity here. Talagang amazed na amazed ako. And you do this every month, I heard. So I'm very honored that I was invited to speak before you. And before I proceed with my talk, the architecture of witnessing, lessons on vision, artistry, patience, and humility from a consecrated laywoman and architect. Let me introduce first myself, no? It says there, consecrated laywoman. And I was introduced as a member of Notre Dame de Vie Institute. Ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng consecrated lay person? You see, I am consecrated. I don't wear a habit. Normally sa vocation, merong married life, religious life, and then members of secular institutes. We are consecrated lay persons. There are men and women. And I am a member of Notre Dame de Vie. Ibig sabihin, we are consecrated like the nuns, no, like the religious nuns. We have vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, but we practice our profession. Like I'm an architect, I work as an architect. We have members like chemists, engineers, doctors, nurses, lawyers. Majority are teachers, no? Like I came here, and the one who asked me to give a talk here is Miss Lulu Domingo. She was a former teacher of Mr. Jack Nang and Mr. Abraham. Yes. So yun ang trabaho, yun ang ginagawa namin. Konsekrado, pero pinapractice namin ng aming profession. We are in the world, no? So young men and women, if you are still single and you are looking for your vocation, know that there is this kind of life, no? Speaking about my professional journey, first I worked at F.L. Hong Architects and Associates, a private architectural firm. I worked there for many years, more than 20 years. And then when I was younger, I resigned to enter Notre Dame de Vie Institute because I found out that I have a vocation, no, to be a consecrated lay person, to serve God through my profession. But first, I need some kind of formation. But then after my initial formation, I asked permission to return to the same work. And so by God's grace, I was accepted back to the same company, taking the same position. So I worked here for more than 20 years. Then I worked also at the Asian Development Bank as Senior Facilities Planning and Management Officer, where I was in charge of the extension of the building of ADB. Then after some time, my superior in the institute asked me to go to France to help prepare for the beatification of our founder, Blessed Father Marie Eugene of the Child Jesus. And I was asked to design, fabricate, and install the reliquaries of our founder, Blessed Father Marie Eugene. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Kasi ang mga santo, bago maproklamang santo, pag i-beatify na, yung mga bones ine-exhume, no? Yung body ine-exhume. Tapos nilalagay yan sa mga reliquaries. So, you will see a picture later. So that was one of my work also. And then later, I was asked to remain in France to help in the renovation of our buildings there. And now, I help in the renovation and repair of our buildings, Notre Dame de Vie Institute here in the Philippines. And I'm currently a freelance architect, currently working now as a consultant at Adamson University. So looking back, I see how architecture has become deeply integrated into my vocation. No? A little bit of sharing about my vocation story. So paano ko ba nalaman na may tawag ako bilang miyembro ng Notre Dame de Vie, bilang konsekradong laiko? ano ba ang secular institute? No, kami, mga konsekrado kami, sinabi ko may mga vows kami, and we practice our profession. We are called to be witnesses in our places of work. Halimbawa, a life of honesty, going to work on time, kung 8 to 5 ang trabaho namin, I see to it that I am there at before 8 or 8 o'clock. And I leave the work at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Yun ang kailangan. No? Yung living a life of honesty. Sometimes we don't even have to speak about God. But people should see by the way we live that God is present. Pero yun na nga, naghahanap ako noon ng aking bukasyon, tinatanong ko, Lord, saan mo ba ako tinatawag? Nakita ko na mayroong nagpakilala sa akin na isang pare sa Notre Dame de Vie. And yun nakita ko, nandoon pala ako. And then, God called me also through my profession. In my work as an architect, I was assigned to design the convent of the Carmelite nuns in Quezon. And one of the prioress was asked by my boss to give a talk kasi yung boss ko very active sa Catholic Charismatic. So he asked the prioress to give a talk. And then the prioress said, to give the talk, I need some preparations. Yung talk ko about interior castle, libro ni Saint Teresa of Avila, and I need some illustrations. So my boss asked me to read the book, The Interior Castle. And then I fell in love with Saint Teresa of Avila. And then it was through that book that I learned about prayer. And then it was the priest who told me that, in Notre Dame de Vie, they are studying about prayer through Saint Teresa of Avila. And so I got interested. And then when I tried to live their life, I found out that I have a vocation for Notre Dame de Vie. And it was not easy to leave my family and my parents to say yes to God. But I know that I am called to this kind of life. And if I do not say yes, my life will be meaningless. Yung bang parang buhay ka, pero wala nang silbi. Buhay na patay. Living dead. Kasi hindi ko matutugunan ang tawag ng Diyos. So I said yes to God's call. Why architecture? People ask me, why architecture? The truth is, I did not choose architecture freely at first. A classmate invited me to accompany her to take the exam in architecture in UST, and I passed. Tapos sabi ng daddy ko, kailangan yan ang kunin mong kurso. Ayoko sana kasi sinamahan ko lang naman yung friend ko, no? Pero sabi ng daddy ko, kapag hindi ka nag-architecture, huwag ka nang mag-aral. Hindi kita papaaralin. And so, with a heavy heart, I said yes, I obeyed. But gradually, I began to love architecture. And now, looking back, I realized how providential that was. Because architecture became one of the principal means through which God would use me in my vocation. And I truly cannot imagine another profession for myself. What I once accepted reluctantly became one of God's instruments for my mission. And for this talk, allow me to share with you my insights on witnessing through a poem written by an ancient Roman architect, Vitruvius. The title is, May I Always Build. This poem beautifully expresses not only what it means to be an architect, but more than that, it reveals what it means to be a visible witness to a life of integrity and purpose. The poem is composed of 4 stanzas, no? four major themes, and I will share with you about witnessing based on each theme. I will open my eyes to vision. May I always build with artistry, with patience, with humility. I will start with, may I always build with vision. I will open my eyes to vision that I may unlock the message in the stone and the clay. Let me sense in the sand and the iron and the tree the mystery beyond all mysteries, the builder beyond all building. With vision, may I always build. I will open my eyes to vision. No? Architecture taught me to see beyond what is visible. An architect must look at an empty space and imagine what could be there. Example, we start with boxes. Boxes lang. And after some imagination and reflection, we have some sketches and the final outcome. This is a residential building. Another example, this is the CHED building in UP. These are some of the projects I've handled at Hong Architects and Associates. This is the CHED building, the rough sketch, and then we have now the completed building. The Santuario de San Vicente de Paul in Tandangsora. The completed building. In life, God asks us to trust in what we cannot yet fully see. When I was pushed into architecture, I did not understand why, but God saw what I could not yet see. What began as reluctant obedience became providential mission. Vision means learning to see life not only with the human eyes, but with the eyes of faith. Vision means seeing the big picture and the human impact behind every task, numbers, and emails. Yung lahat ng ginagawa nyo everyday, email, documentation, lahat may kahulugan yun. I will open my hands to artistry, that I may skillfully turn point, line, and plane to the support and protection of man's body, to the nourishment of his hope, to the preservation of his culture. Let my tools be adroit and ready weapons in his resistance to decay and his struggle to be free. With artistry, may I always build. Architecture is not merely technical work. It is an art. Beauty matters. Spaces shape the human experience. A beautiful space can elevate the soul. I'm sure you will agree with me. One of the greatest graces in my life was being entrusted with the design and fabrication of the reliquaries of Blessed Father Marie Eugene of the Child Jesus. They are holding the reliquary containing the bones of Blessed Father Marie Eugene. One is the big reliquary on the left, and the other one is the traveling reliquary. And there were around 10 more reliquaries that were distributed to the different parts of the world, to members of the Solitude, members of Notre Dame de Vie. In that work, I felt profoundly that my artistic gifts were being offered directly in the service of the church. My talent is not mine alone. It is a gift entrusted to me to be offered back to God. I will open my hands to artistry. This translates to excellence, master craftsmanship, and taking pride in one's outputs. Treating work not just as a job, but as an art that protects and elevates others. May I always build with patience. I will open my heart to patience, that those for whom I plan may not be denied their true answer through any haste of mine or shallow expediency. As my art grows in the building of man's shelter, so may my heart grow in the building of man's happiness. Patiently, may I always build. Architecture requires patience. Projects takes time. Alam natin ito lahat, lalo na yung mga involved dyan sa mga housing, sa construction. Designs undergo revisions. Construction faces delays. Problems arise unexpectedly. Clients change their minds. Architecture taught me that good things cannot be rushed. And God works the same way in the spiritual life. He builds slowly. He lays foundations before walls can rise. He forms us gradually. Patience means trusting His timing. I'd like to give you some practical example. Customer delight against customer satisfaction. Customer delight, we know, is the process of surpassing customers' expectations. Yung customer satisfaction, pag happy lang sila, we simply meet their expectations, no? Hindi nasusurpass. Ang goal natin is that may client tayo, delighted sila. Hindi lang sila happy, delighted sila doon sa binigay nating trabaho. Yun ang ating goal. And that requires patience kasi baka mag-overtime ka para gawin yun, para maging happy yung client, di ba? I learned also in architecture that we have to autograph our work with quality. Bata pa lang ako sa opisina, madalas sasabihin natin, okay, pwede na to, pwede na, natapos ko na, okay na to, pwede na. Pero hindi pala, natutunan ko, hindi pwede yung pwede na. Dapat, ang sasabihin natin, ayaw na. Pwedeng pwede na. Pwedeng pwede na. Ibig sabihin, matutuwa ang kliyente, matutuwa ang boss natin dun sa output natin. So always, natutunan ko to, hindi ko sasabihin, pwede na to. Hindi, pwedeng pwede na. Ito yung sinabi ko kanina, architecture taught me that good things cannot be trusted. God works the same way in the spiritual life. He builds slowly. He lays foundations before walls can rise. He forms us gradually. Patience means trusting His timing. Another example, obstacles to providing good quality service, no? Conflicts in the workplace. Ito, parang hindi naman maiiwasan. Kuminsan nangyayari talaga itong conflicts in the workplace. Kuminsan meron nga tayong mga seminar on conflict resolution. Pero itong ginagawa nyo na to, na culture event daily, na napapalago ang inyong buhay, pananampalataya, malaking bagay para makakatulong sa conflict in the workplace, sa conflict resolution. This requires patience also. Understanding the other person, no? Where is she coming from? No? We try our best to love our coworker, even if she or he is unlovable. Because a happy workplace is a productive workplace. And another challenge, ito talaga totoo ito, bribery. For example, nakita niyo yung CHED building kanina. That's a government project. Whenever I work for a government project, totoo naman, parati talagang may bribery or padded yung cost. Super padded. What can we do? Me as an architect, I tell them, moderate your greed. We can only tell them, moderate your greed. We check the estimates, sobrang mahal, moderate your greed. And kung minsan magbibigay sila ng lagay, sorry, no, we do not accept anything from the client or from any supplier. It's a challenge, and many are tempted to accept. And many are tempted to just say yes to, because it's the in thing. No. This requires patience on our part. Patience and firmness at the same time. To build with patience means giving people the time they need to deliver their true answer. May I always build with humility. I will open my mind to humility that I may remember my debt to those who have taught me and strive to discharge it to those whom I teach. Let me be always aware that my days are short, my work is long, my talent endures not forever. In humility, may I always build. Architecture teaches humility because no building is created alone. We must listen. Ito kuminsan ang challenge sa atin, hindi tayo marunong makinig. We must listen, we must collaborate, we must accept correction. In business, this is about mentorship, no? Tuturuan yung mga nakabata sa atin. Valuing team collaboration, acknowledging that no leader builds a monument alone, and keeping the ego in check. In my case, one of the deepest lessons in humility came not through teamwork, but through a failure. When I took the board exam to become a registered architect, I failed. And it was the most important exam in my life, no? In my profession. Sabi ko, I never failed in any exam or any quizzes when I was young. So it was for me talaga humiliating. It was a painful and humbling experience. Then I realized that God was teaching me like a mother teaching the young bird to fly. He was teaching me to be strong. He was teaching me not to be discouraged by failure. He was teaching me that when I fall, He is there to catch me or to help me rise again. And providentially, it was through that failure that I met the priest who would later lead me to Notre Dame de Vie Institute. What I thought was defeat became grace. And honestly, I sometimes think I might have become a monster of pride had I not failed. So God used failure to save me from myself. Even if the whole world ravage and destroy, may I always build. To build is my mission. To build buildings, not only buildings, but peace, hope, trust, community, the kingdom of God. All of us are called to be builders. Let my work go beyond creed and color and nation, bridging the world of difference, letting fall to ruin the house of war and enlarging the house of peace. These are words of the ancient architect Vitruvius. No? This is his conclusion, the conclusion of the poem. While the breath of the great architect is in me, may I always build. Thank you.